Hello everyone, myself Nagma Arshin, Assistant Professor, Department of Electrical and Electronics Engineering, Lord's Institute of Engineering and Technology, Hyderabad. Now, before going to the basics of circuits, so here I am going to take a lectures on basics of circuits. So first we have to know what is the circuit. Clear? So come to the electrical engineering. Without circuit we are not survive any stream of the jobs. So circuit is nothing but is a closed path. Is it? Is a closed path. It should contains the energy sources and the elements. Okay, it contains the energy sources and elements that should be in a closed. That is called the circuit. Now come to the what is the outline for the given lecture is the basics definitions, classifications, basic circuit components, energy sources, Ohm's law and Kirchhoff law. Okay, each and everything will be discussed in detail. Now come to the basics definitions. Okay, in complete entire in the basics of electrical engineering, we are just talking about the current, voltage and power. Okay, so what is the electric current? Simply we can say is a flow of rate of flow of charge. It will be a rate of flow of charge, that is in terms of dq by dt. Simply we can write the equation for the current, that is electric current I is equal to q by t, and the current is measured in amperes. So come to the next, voltage. See, the voltage is nothing but the difference between the electric potential at any two given points in a circuit. That is known as a potential difference. Simply we can say voltage V, and the voltage V measured in volts. Now next we have electric power, that is denoted by P. The power is defined as the rate at which electric work is done. Means the rate at which the electric work is done means whatever the work will be done with respect to time is called the power. That is given by the expression P is equal to work done by the time. Now the power is measured in watts. So this is about the basic definitions. Apart from the basic these three, we are having the different basic definitions related to circuits, we can say. So come to the first one, network. So simply we can say circuit also network, network also a circuit. So both are same. Now come to the network. What is the network? Network is an arrangement of various electric sources along with the electric element. See, if you have to form a network, that should be consist of the source and that should be consist of the elements. Without source, that will be not cut as a network. Clear? So network should consist, energy source and the elements, then only that closed path, completely closed path is called the network. Now what do you mean by the network element? See, we are forming the network by using the network elements, network sources, so that is up to the network. Now what do you mean by network element? So the network element is defined as any individual circuit element which two terminals which can be connected to the another circuit element is called the network element. Is it clear? See, circuit element with the two terminals. See, every element is consisting of the two terminals. We can say the two ends. So, two ends should be connected to the another circuit element to form a network. That element is called the network element. Clear? Next, we go for the definition of branch. So, what is the branch? How we can define the branch? See, by using the network element only we can define the branch. So, a part of the network which connects the various points of the network. Is it clear? So, by using the elements we are forming the network. Then using the network elements we are forming the branch. Means the network should connect the various points of the network which one another means one network and another network should be connected. This point is called the branch. Clear? So these are some basics definitions. Now next we have the junction point. Same again come from the network. So using the network elements, we are forming the branches, we are forming the closed path, we are forming the circuits. So the same thing, junction point, a point where three or more branches should be meet. Okay, not a single branch, means branch is consisting of the network elements. So 3 or more branches should be meet at the single point. That point is called the junction point. Clear? Next, come to the node. What do you mean by node? So up to this we call the junction point, number of branches will come to one point, that is called the junction. Now what do you mean by node? A point at which 2 or more elements are joined. Up to the branch, that's okay. Now node is nothing but irrespective of energy source, just 1 and 2 or more elements should be connected across the single point, that is called the node point of a given circuit. So mention here irrespective of source, just we are talking about the elements, we are not talking about the sources. Now come to the next. Loop is a set of branches forming a closed path. So here the complete network is closed by using the loop. See, all the set of branches are forming the branch, are forming the closed path, that is called the loop. So here the complete circuit will be closed by using the loop. Now we have next, classification of networks. So the classification is almost depends upon the behavior and characteristics of the each and every element. What are the elements will be connected in the circuits. So depending upon the behavior and characteristics, we have classified some networks as active and passive networks, linear and non-linear networks, lumped and distributed networks, bilateral and unilateral networks. Now come to the first point, active and passive networks. Why the network is called the active network and why the network is called the passive network. So active network is a network should consist energy source with respect to the elements. That network is called the active network. Now what about the passive? See, the passive network is completely opposite to the active networks. See, the passive network does not contain any energy source, that only having the elements, means the passive network is not a energy network, energy source is given network. So come to the next one, linear and non-linear networks. So when the circuit is said to be linear, means the V and characteristics of a given circuit should be same. Start from the origin and should be same for all the time. Okay, it should be same for all the time. That circuit is called the linear circuit. So we have some example for the linear circuits, that is RLC. We can say the resistance, inductance and the capacitance. Now come to the non-linear networks. So opposite to the linear, exactly. Why? Because the circuit is said to be non-linear, means the VI characteristic should not be same at all the times. Clear? This is called the non-linear networks. The examples are diodes and transistors. Now next we have lumped and distributed networks. So the network is said to be lumped, means the network should consist of elements with a very small in size and they have a spontaneous action will be take at what are the cause will be done, that at that time only that will be takes place. So the example for the lump networks are the resistance, inductance and capacitance, simply we can say the transformers. Now come to the distributed networks. Distributed networks are the networks which are not electrically separable for analytical purpose, and the example for the distributed networks are the transmission lines. Transmission lines contains the elements resistance, inductance, capacitance over the length of the line up to the hundreds of miles of meters. Next, we have the basic circuit components. So up to this we are talking about the elements and the basic definitions and everything. Here we are having the basics component of electrical engineering. One is the resistance, inductance and the capacitance. Now what about the resistance? How we can define the resistance? It is a material is having the property of opposing the flow of current, opposes the flow of current. Now it is denoted by R and the resistance is measured in ohms. So by seeing the diagram, the symbol for the resistance is R. See the diagram, here we are placing the resistor R having the two ends, one end and another end, or maybe a positive or negative. It depends upon our circuit theory. Now next we are having the inductance. Inductance is an element which stores the energy in the form of electromagnetic field, and it is denoted by the capital L, and it is measured by henries. So see the diagram, the inductance, the second one is look like the spring, and it is also having the two ends. Next we have the capacitance. Capacitance is also an element which stores the energy in the form of electrostatic field, and it is denoted by C, and we can say that it is measured in farads. Now we can see the diagram for the capacitance, or the symbol, that is having the two parallel plates, and it is separated by some dielectric material having the two ends. So these are the basic components of electrical engineering: resistance, inductance and capacitance. Now we can see what are the relation, how we can write the equation for the basic components using the different equations. So the first element is resistance, R, the symbol is denoted by R, and the unit for the resistance are ohm. Now how we write the equation? See, the resistance R is equal to V by I. It is the voltage and current. So from Ohm's law we can write the equation, that is V is equal to IR. From that we are getting the equation R is equal to V by I. So next, what happened if the resistor is connected in series? See, if we are talking about the single resistance, we cannot go for this series connection. Now assume we are having the two resistances, that is R1 and R2. Now come to the series connection. How we put the series connection for the different resistors? So the resistor 1 and resistors 2 should be connected one by one, means one end of the resistor should be connected to the another end of the resistor, that is called the series connection of the resistance. So by giving the series connection we are getting some total value of resistance. We can simply say that is the equivalent resistance of a given series circuit, that is RT is equal to R1 plus R2. Next, what about if the resistor is connected in parallel? See, series connection is one by one we are giving, so we are getting the equation as R1 plus R2. Now come to the parallel connection. The parallel connection, in between the resistor should be one across the another, means that should not be connected line by line, should be come across one resistor should be come across the another resistor. This is called the parallel connection. For that we are getting the equation, that is 1 by RT is equal to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 by using the two resistors. Now come to the capacitor. Now we have the symbol, and it is denoted by C. We are having the equation, that is C is equal to Q by V, where the Q is the charge, V is the voltage. Now same, again we are giving the same connection for the capacitor, that should be connected in series. We are taking the two capacitors, that is C1 and C2, and now in the series connection for the capacitor, the total capacitance, that is CT is equal to 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2. Now come to the parallel connection, again the same, that will be one should be across the another. Again we will get the equation, that is CT is equal to C1 plus C2. Now next we have the inductor. So the symbol for the inductor is given, and it is denoted by L. The equation for the inductor, L is equal to VL di by dt. Now for what happened if the inductor is connected in series? Again one end is connected to another end. Now next we are getting the total inductance for a given circuit, that is LT is equal to L1 plus L2. Next, what happened if the inductor is connected in parallel? So the parallel connection is given for the inductors, that is L1 and L2. Will get the equivalent inductance, that is our total resistance is equal to 1 by L1 plus 1 by L2. These are the some basics equations of our basic components. Now next we have energy sources. Okay, so to form a circuit we require the elements, we require the sources. Okay, just now we discussed about the elements. Now we have the energy sources. So depending upon the circuit usage, we have the two types of energy sources. One is the voltage source, next is the current source. Again, the voltage source and current source is classified as independent and dependent sources. There should be an ideal source and there should be a practical source. Now, if the voltage source, if it is a ideal voltage source, we simply say if it is a ideal voltage source, what happened to the voltage source? See, come to the point. Ideal means the circuit should not consist of any type of loss. Okay, so see the symbol for the voltage source. So we are connecting one voltage source, giving the notation plus and minus and having the two ends. Now come to the circuit, because we have to form a circuit, then only we will get the some values of load side. Clear? We should close the circuit. We cannot do open circuit. Open circuit means we are not doing any operation over there. If they come to the circuit, the supply is given as a voltage source, then it goes to the load voltage VL. But in the series, we should not connect the series resistance, because this is the ideal voltage source. Here the series resistance should be is equal to 0, means there is no losses. It is an ideal purpose. So come to the characteristics. We have the VI characteristics. So we can say that is VL is equal to VS. This should be always same at all the instants of time. There should not be vary with the instant of time. There should be equal for all the instant of time. Why? Because we are raising one concern, that is RSC is always is equal to 0 for the ideal voltage source. Next we have the practical voltage source. So ideally we have done, so we are simply saying that RSC is equal to 0. Now come to the practical voltage source. What happened? Practically we need to show some internal resistance should be present in a practical circuit. So compared to ideal circuit, there is no internal resistance. We simply say that is RSC is equal to 0. But come to the practical circuit, we have to keep one internal resistance that should be connected in series. That's why it is called as a RSC. See the circuit B. So voltage source is connected series in with the resistance, that why RSC. Again it comes to the load voltage and the circuit is closed by the source. Now come to the characteristics. See, we have the VI characteristics for the practical voltage source. For the ideal case, VL is equal to VS. Dotted lines are for the ideal case. Now come to the line, normal line, that is Vs is not is equal to the VL. We are showing some lagging behind the line, means ideal should be always same for all the instant of times, but the practical should not be same for all the instant of time. Why? Because RSC is not equal to 0. This is for the practical case. Current source is also ideal current source and the practical current source. Only the thing is, if you are talking about the ideal source, the internal resistance should not be present. Means the ideal purpose, the characteristics will be shows the load current should be is equal to the supply current. Means there is no losses in the circuit. We are simply putting the circuit is not consisting of any source of resistance, means the shunt resistance. Then we'll get the equation as a characteristics as a straight line, means the every instant of time we are getting the same value of load current and the same value of supply current. So here there is no changes in the characteristics. Next we have the practical current source. Again the same thing. Practically we have to do means we have to place one resistance over the current source that should be in a parallel manner. So here come to the circuit, one current source is connected. Across the current source, the resistance will be connected in parallel, that is RSH, and the resistance is dissipate some amount of current, that is ISH. Again the remaining current will be flows towards the voltage, that is the load voltage, that is load current. Now come to the practical case. Here there is no RSH not equal to infinite, because some amount of current will be dissipated by some RSH. So we are not getting, that is IL is equal to IS, means some amount of current will be despite in terms of the resistance. So the characteristics will be like this. For the ideal case, that the dotted line shows the ideal case, that is IL is equal to IS. The remaining line should be a practical current source. So these are the characteristics and the circuit diagram for the practical current source. Next we have the dependent sources. So dependent voltage source and the dependent current source. Now why the sources are called the dependent? Means for a given circuit, if the voltage source is present, it should be depends on the same circuit source. Those circuits are called the dependent voltage or dependent current sources. So we have some classification for the dependent sources. One is the voltage dependent voltage source, current dependent voltage source, voltage dependent current source, and the current dependent current sources. So the dependent sources will be shown as a symbol of diamond. Okay, so we can place the diamond symbol. If the voltage source, we can place the plus and minus. If the current source, we show with an arrow mark. So these are the notation for the sources. Now come to the first one, voltage dependent voltage source. Means the voltage is produced as a function of voltage. Okay, see, voltage dependent voltage source means we have to produce the voltage, there should be a function of voltage. So the first diagram is related to voltage dependent voltage source. We have to write the equation, that is V is equal to K V1. Now come to the current dependent voltage source. Second one is the voltage source, it produces the voltage as a function of current, that is V is equal to Ki1. Next, third one, voltage dependent current source. Again, the current source, it produces the current source as a function of voltage, that is I is equal to Kv1. Next, we have the current dependent current source. Same, it produces the current as a function of current. See, even the supply energy source should be current and the function should be also a current source. So we'll get the equation, that is I is equal to Ki1. So these are the dependent energy sources related to the voltage and current. Next we have Ohm's law. It's a very important relation is given by Ohm's. Entirely electrical engineering depends upon this relation only. So what is Ohm's law states that, what is the statement of Ohm's law? The current flowing through the electric circuit, is directly proportional to the potential difference of a given circuit and inversely proportional to the resistance of a circuit, it provided at the constant temperature. This is the statement for the Ohm's law. Once again I am repeating. See what he said, for a given circuit, the current is directly proportional to the voltage and inversely proportional to the resistance. So that should be at the constant temperature. Mathematically we can say that is V is directly proportional, V is equal to IR, I is equal to V by R is equal to V by I, keeping the R is equal to the constant. So seeing the symbol, seeing the diagram, so we are placing one resistor is having the voltage that is across the resistor point, that is plus and minus V, and current is flowing towards the resistor, that is I. Here the resistance measures in ohms, V is measures in volt, I is measures in current, I is measures in ampere. So the Ohm's law is nothing but the relation between the V and I with respect to some constant value, that is R. Simply we can say that is V is directly proportional to I. After removing the proportionality, we are getting some constant that is equal to R, that is nothing but a resistance. Now we have Kirchhoff laws. Okay, so what about the Kirchhoff law? So we are having the two Kirchhoff laws, one is the KCL and another one is the KVL. What do you mean by KCL? That is the Kirchhoff current law, and KVL is nothing but Kirchhoff voltage law. Now we have some IV relationship between the elements and devices, currents and related to the device. So Kirchhoff law is how the voltage is related to the voltage in the circuit and how the currents are related to the circuit. He defines how the voltage is related to the circuit and how the currents are related to the given circuit. So among those we are having the two laws, one is the Kirchhoff voltage law and one is the Kirchhoff current law. Now what is the Kirchhoff voltage law says? What is the statement? So the sum of voltage drop around the closed path must be is equal to 0. What is said? The sum of all the voltages. See, the closed path means number of voltage sources are present. So we have to take all the algebraic sum of all the voltage should be is equal to 0. This is the Kirchhoff voltage law statement. This should be satisfied by the circuit. We have to show all the sum of voltage drop V is equal to 0. Next we have KCL, Kirchhoff current law. The sum of current leaving a closed surface or point must be is equal to 0. The sum of all the currents are leaving a closed surface means, see, I am taking a number of currents are present in a circuit. Some are leaving from the junction point or some are coming to the junction point. So some are coming towards the junction point, some are away from the junction point. By that we can say the Kirchhoff current law is the sum of individual currents entering to the junction should be is equal to the sum of currents leaving to the junction point. Means entering current should be is equal to the leaving currents. So this is the Kirchhoff current law statement. Now we come to the Kirchhoff voltage law. So we simply say the sum of all the voltages should be is equal to 0 in a complete closed path. That is called the Kirchhoff current law. That is sum of all the voltages, that is Vm is equal to 0. Next we have the Kirchhoff current law. As we know, junction point, see here we are having the so many currents, some currents are entering and some currents are leaving. See, the I1 current is entering to the junction, I2 is entering, I3 is leaving, I4 is leaving, I5 is entering. So by the statement of Kirchhoff current law, we have to write the equation that should be is equal to 0. Means we have to write sum of the current should be is equal to 0. Either may be a entering to the junction, either may be a away from the junction. So we have sum of current, that is I1. If the current is entering, we should take the positive. If the current is leaving, we should take the negative sign for the current. So I1 entering, I am taking the I1 as a positive. Then I2 is also entering, I am taking as a positive. Now come to the third current, that is I3, that is leaving from the junction point. Means we have to take the minus. Next I4, this is also leaving from the junction point, and put it as a minus I4. Again we have the current I5, that is towards to the junction point. That's why I will keep it as a plus I5 means it is entering to the junction. That should be is equal to 0. Next we have the another statement for the Kirchhoff current law. Sum of entering current should be is equal to the sum of leaving current. So we have the entering currents I1, I2 and I4. That should be is equal to the I3 plus I4. This is about the Kirchhoff current law. We have to satisfy the statement, that is entering current should be is equal to the leaving current. Thank you for watching.